So, ladies and gentlemen, 29th March this year, 2025, and for the next 3 years till 23rd February 2028, Saturn will be in the most evolved of all signs, which is none other than the sign of Pisces. And this transit will be massive. There'll be a lot of changes which will come into my life, into your life, and the people around. So, the video on moon signs has been made long back, and this video is for transits from the ascendant, which is your lagna, your rising sign. If you want to see from your moon sign, you will find the video down in the description section. But for today, use it to see it from your ascendant, your lagna, your rising sign. All right. So, first, as always, for Aries ascendants, Mesh Lagna, this is a transit which is going on your 12th house, which means Saturn will transit your 12th house. Now, what is the 12th house? We know what the 12th house is, right? It is isolation, it is foreign lands, and a lot of other things which we are going to discuss today. So, now Saturn from the 12th will aspect your second house, and then Saturn will also aspect your sixth house. He will also aspect your ninth house. Do not forget, very, very, very important house. And for you, Aries, Saturn lords your 10th house and your most important house, which is the 11th house for financial gains, especially. So, what will be the effects of this transit? So, it's like saying the 10th lord and the 11th lord is transiting into your 12th house. And from there, he aspects your second house, your sixth house, and most importantly, your ninth house. So, this means you might find a lot of career prospects in foreign lands. So there could be career and foreign prospects. They could be joined, so you might get an on-site opportunity. You might travel to an international company or you might relocate abroad. Now, depending on your Mahadasha and Antardasha, the relocation will be temporary or it may be permanent. So, in your original birth chart, if the 12th house is very prominent, then this might be a permanent relocation, or it could be like for at least 5 to 10 to 15 to 20 years. Okay. But if in your original birth chart, if the third and the ninth houses are more prominent compared to your 12th house, then this could be a temporary travel, for 6 months, 1 year, or 2 to 3 years. So, it depends on your chart. Now, but here is the things. It's Saturn, it's not Jupiter. So this this opportunity that you get, the process will be gradual. It will not be like, oh yeah, suddenly I found this. So which means you got to work for it. It will not be like somebody will come and hand it over to you in a five-star platter. Okay, so which means if you see that there is an opportunity, you have to apply for it. You have to talk to your seniors. You have to you got to do the work, sir, madam. Now, financially, there could be sudden expenses which may come. So, budgeting is very important, and be very careful before you take a new loan, because Saturn, he loves to teach you lessons, right? So, therefore, use money judiciously, use resources judiciously, because you might discover that you might suddenly need some money on the side. So keep an emergency fund, at least for the next 3 to 6 months. You should have that money. All right, very, very, very important. So prepare and also take insurance if required. And if you're traveling abroad, do not forget to take insurance. Of course, if you're traveling abroad, then insurance is mandatory in most of the countries, but have good insurance. Okay, health insurance and travel insurance, because your sixth house, which is the house of diseases, is also receiving the aspect. Do not forget that. Now, there could be sleep issues, there could be anxiety, and you might feel that, there is mental fatigue. Like, for example, you are trying too much hard in your profession and it's not working. So, the most important remedy for you is, if you feel nothing is working out, then please sit and do pranayam. Saturn, the one of the best remedies for Saturn is pranayam, because Saturn represents Vayu Tattva and the Vayu element, the airy element. It's very important. So mental fatigue may come. So doing yoga, meditation, and it can gradually help you. And also doing aerobic exercises like, walking, cycling, that can also help you. Now, there could be exceptionally high work stress and there could be some legality. So therefore, if you are going abroad or if you are traveling to another place, for a temporary period of time, even within your country, make sure you know where you are going, the people there and the places. You may not know everybody, but you should be aware of where you are entering. Okay. And then there could be office politics because of the sixth house and the ninth house, and there could be some issues related to your father also. So in short, you will require discipline, and during this period you will see that you will have a very strong inclination towards spirituality, meditation, or seclusion, and this will lead to inner transformation. So please understand that don't see this as a good or as a bad period. Use this period for inner transformation, and you will see that the results will amaze you after 3 years. All right. So wish you all the best, Aries. Don't worry and take it slow. Now we go to Taurus. Taurus, Vishab Lagna. Saturn is your Karak, ninth lord and 10th lord. And for you, Saturn is gonna transit the 11th house, which is the house of fulfillment of desires, aspirations, dreams. But he's Saturn. So, what does this mean? Does it mean he's gonna stop and not give you any fulfillment of desire? No, it does not mean that. Let's try to see which houses Saturn is impacting from the 11th house. So, Saturn will transit your 11th house where Pisces is, and from there he will aspect your first house, the Lagna, which is you yourself, your head, your intelligence. Then he aspects your fifth house, which is the house of creativity, love, children, romance, and all this, happiness, right? Happiness and Saturn. Then he also will aspect your eighth house, Ashtam, which is eighth house, as you know, as I always say, eighth house is the graveyard where things go to end, right? And as I said, he's a Yog Karak, the most important planet in your chart after Venus, of course. So therefore, he also rules your ninth house, which is the house of higher learning, dharma, spirituality, and 10th house, which is the house of your profession. So very, very, very important planet. So there will be gains in your career. 10th Lord transiting 11th, phenomenal period. Taurus Ascendants, congratulations. But the results will come slowly, it will be gradual. So therefore, Taurus Ascendants, if you know a Taurus Ascendant, or maybe you are a Taurus because of which you are watching this, so be patient. You will get the results, but gradually, it won't happen overnight. All right. So therefore, there will be financial gains. Your stock portfolio, your real estate portfolio, your crypto portfolio might grow. It will grow, but you have to give it time. So if you want short-term gains, this may not be the best period, especially with stock market. Why do I say stock market? Because he's also aspecting the fifth house, and fifth house, as you know, is the house of speculation, which is there in the stock market. Health and discipline, self-discipline, very important. A discipline routine is necessary to avoid lifestyle issues. So therefore, you need to have a proper schedule. When Saturn is aspecting the ascendant, you do not have a choice, my dear sir, my dear lady. You must understand that I will have to be disciplined now, not in career, not in investing, not in health, not here, not there. In every damn area of life, you have to be patient, you have to persevere, you have to have tolerance, you have to understand that now is the time I have to take my life seriously. So take your life seriously, because not just because it is aspecting the first house, because now it is the 11th house, which is the house of gains and fulfillment of desire. So it means if you do the work right, then you will get success in every area of life, not just your health or career. Okay, very, very, very important. Then love relationships might become a bit serious and you might think of long-term commitments. So if you are in a relationship, maybe it's a great time to get married, because this is the time when you can take things to the next level. Or if you are single, maybe depending on your Mahadasha and Antardasha, you might meet somebody with whom you might enter into a relationship. Or if you're already married, then you might have childbirth because Saturn aspects your fifth house. And if the fifth house or the second house or the ninth or the 11th house is indicated in your Mahadasha and Antardasha, then and for you and your spouse too, both of them, then yes, of course, 100% there could be birth of child, right? This is a long transit, 3 years. And there could be some hidden issues related to wealth and inheritance. So anytime you are thinking of inheritance, or you want to have a chat regarding that with your parents, or your parents want to have a talk with you, or you want to have that talk with your children, depending on whichever age group you are. So then it is the perfect time, because Saturn shows serious conversations which you do not like, but you need to do it, sir. So therefore, issues related to inheritance could come, and be prepared to have those hard conversations, right, which nobody likes. And most importantly, you should focus on growing your influence and your network circle, because these professional connections that you make now will give you great results in the long run. Very, very, very important. Okay, so therefore these connections that you make, these network circles that you build up, will give you long term. When I say long term, I don't mean like 5, 10, I mean like 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. Okay, so therefore, please work on yourself. Perfect time. Improve yourself, improve your life, your network circle, your health, your relationship with your children, hobbies, and don't forget to chant the name of God. All right, because fifth house also shows mantras, and don't forget Saturn is aspecting your fifth house. All right, take care, Taurus. Great period. Congratulations. All the best. Now we go to Gemini. Gemini, what's going on? Mithun Lagna. Saturn is gonna transit your 10th house. Thumbs up, double thumbs up. Pisces is in your 10th house, and Saturn will transit there. And Saturn rules your 8th and your 9th. So, 9th Lord transiting the 10th. Fantastic. It is like a partial dharma karmadipati yoga. Okay, so it's a very, very, very powerful yoga that you are getting now. And from there, he's going to aspect your 12th house, 4th house, and the 7th house. Okay, so very, very, very important. This transit is happening in a Kendra. So after Aries, from Aries, you are the first ascendant which is having this transit in the Kendra. Very, very, very important, Gemini. Now, what does this transit mean for you? Well, it has many meanings, but essentially career responsibilities will increase. So you can expect that your workload is gonna increase. So therefore, you should anticipate, not necessarily in a bad way, but you can expect, that you will have to work more. So you might have to stay a bit longer in your office if required, and there will be demand for long term commitment. Like your company might tell you, we want to put you in a project, but you have to stay there like 2 years, 3 years, 5 years maybe. So success will come, but you have to persevere for it. Okay, then there could be opportunities for going into foreign lands, because Saturn is your ninth lord, and ninth lord can show foreign countries also. And because your 12th house receives the aspect, so you might get foreign opportunities. So possibilities of a foreign job or transfer might arise. Now, this transfer could be from a different state, from one state to another state. From India, you might go from Bangalore to Delhi or something like that also, rather than going abroad to another country. Or it could be within a state, you are going from one city to other, Mumbai, Pune, or Pune, Mumbai, or something like that. So therefore, there could be change of residence because of your job. And during this process, there could be delays, there could be obstacles and procedures. A lot of formalities could be there. Okay, so please keep some backup time with you, and some money also. Now, home and family life, very important. Family responsibilities might come also, because Saturn will also aspect your fourth house, which is the house of your mother, which is the house of real estate, your home, your your house, literally, the building, the foundation, there could be some requirement. If Venus dasha is going on, you might want to do some interior design, some renovation might be required, something might be damaged, you might have to repair. And most importantly, seventh house, which is the house of marriage, your spouse, it might happen that your spouse has now become very busy, for some reason, they are having a promotion in their life. So this could mean that now you have to take more responsibilities within the family also. So family responsibilities might increase. This could include your mother, your spouse, your children, and also your father, because Saturn is also your ninth lord. Don't forget that. Or it could be also your in-laws, because he's also your eighth lord. So it will depend on which dasha you are running, and depending on that, we will have to see which person is, because of which person are you having to take more responsibility. And property related decisions could be very important. So you might go for a home purchase, or you might enter into real estate. These things could occur depending on which dasha you are running. And marriages and partnerships, very very important. Now is the time where, if you want to start a business partnership with a long term friend or with your spouse also, then this is a great period, because now these two kendra houses are kind of linked through placement and aspect. Okay. And personal and professional relationships might sometimes call for boundaries. So for example, suppose husband and wife, you are starting a company together, so sometimes there could be a situation where you are dealing more like business partners rather than dealing like spouses of each other, but that's okay. So you might require extra efforts to keep that boundary and to keep the thing going. And spiritual alignment is very important, because the ninth lord shows enlightenment and eighth lord shows your sadhana. So your daily habits, your ability to control bad habits, that is very important. And because the eighth lord is now going to transit your 10th house, and it will aspect the 12th house, so it is imperative that you try your best, you do sadhana, and you control your vices inside. And if you do this, then this will be a great period for profound philosophical and spiritual and inner realization. So you will see God if you work hard. All right, Gemini, take care, all the best, great transit. Now we go to Cancer, Kark Lagna. This transit is in your ninth house. Some relief from the eighth house, right? Not an easy transit for Cancer last 3 years, but now it's changing. Finally, Saturn is entering a good house. So, kudos, congratulations. Don't worry. Ninth house is the house of God, and God will protect you provided you go to Him. Okay, if you are like, oh, I will be the same person, I don't give a damn, what's going on in my life. No, 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 that way you are still in the eighth house, right? But the ninth house is the house of your guru, it is the house of God, it is the house of your father, your mentor, spiritual guides, who will give you a facility to receive enlightenment either in the present or in the future. So therefore, now, for you, Saturn is a very important planet, because he's a Kendra Lord. So he is the Lord of 7th and the 8th. And he will, from your ninth house, he will aspect your 11th house, your third house, and your sixth house. So very, very, very important transit, because the 11th house is receiving your aspect, which means now there could be a situation where you might have to work on your network circles a bit. You might have to work on your connections, your friends, your family, long term associations. Okay, so higher learning and spirituality, a strong focus on religion and spiritual studies might come. You might want to learn a new language or study a different religion also, that might also come. It might be this case where you see that there is a lot of, you need to structure things properly in your life. You need to structure and bring discipline into your life, into your long term projects, into your thoughts, your ideals, because ninth house also shows ideals. and you might want to take a pilgrimage, you might want to travel to a holy place, and you might want to do a long distance travel. Okay, so it is the best time to do spiritual practices and to go to a long distant place to meet your guru. Maybe your guru is in your town, you don't have to fly 2-3,000 kilometers, but in case if it is required, please do it. But on the contrary, you have to understand it is Saturn. So there will be delays, there will be disappointments, there will be setbacks. Do not forget this. And because the eighth house is involved, so eighth lord transiting in the ninth, there could be some legal matters and there could be some hidden enemies who are trying to pull you down. All right. But don't worry, God is there with you all the time. Just look to Him and you will find Him, because ninth house is the house of God. So now, Cancer, for you, it is imperative that whenever you do something new in your life the next 3 years, you do it sincerely by following all necessary protocols. Do not ditch the rules and regulations. Generally, they say break the rules, but not the law. But for you, don't break the rules. Business partnerships, that could be very important. Now, you might want to do spiritual practices with your husband, with your wife. Very, very, very important, because now your seventh lord is transiting the ninth house. So you might feel that, yes, now our marriage, our relationship needs to go to the next level. Apart from the daily stuff, all the materialistic engagements of married life, now I need to do something spiritual, I need to go higher. All right, so therefore now is the time you might want to do spiritual practices not alone. You might feel that, okay, I need to go to a different center, but not alone, with my husband, with my wife. Okay, so chanting the Vishnu Sahasranam every day together, husband, wife, sitting together with your family, very, very, very important. And also, if you get time, do some preaching, also do some prachar. Okay, because third house is also receiving the aspect. So if you get spiritual knowledge, give it out, don't keep it with yourself. And then the sixth house, of course, as you know, is enemies, diseases. So you might want to educate yourself on some disease that you are having internally in the body, because ninth house is the house of learning. Okay, so at the end, like for every ascendant, also for Cancer, hard work and consistency is required, and that will bring you rewards, especially if you are learning something, you are gaining some knowledge. Be humble. Ninth house is the guru, so go and bow down in front of your guru, take the blessings of your guru, and by the blessings of your guru or your gurus, more than one guru, then you will attain success. All right, and please keep your ego in check, because ninth house can sometimes make you very puffed up, because it might give you a lot of knowledge and you might think you are superior to somebody. All right, so in case you feel like that, please keep your um, please keep that high sense of self under check. All right, but on worry, finally it's coming out of the eighth and going to the ninth. So congratulations, all the best, Cancer. Now we go to Leo, Simha Lagna. What is going on? Leo Lagna, Saturn and the Sun, best friends, right? Saturn for you will transit the eighth house where Pisces is, and he lords your sixth house and your seventh house. He's a Kendra lord, and he's also a Dusthana lord, will transit into another Dusthana house like the eighth house. And from there, he will throw the aspect to the 10th house, the second house, and back to the fifth house. Interesting transit. Leo Lagna, for you, it's time for transformation and change. I won't sugarcoat it. Eighth house, not an easy house. Now, when I say transformation, it does not mean it something bad will happen and then there will be a transformation. It could be a voluntary transformation also. But will you do it yourself or will nature force you to do it? That will depend on your chart. So, if your Mahadasha and your Antardasha, if these two are good, then you will voluntarily want to make changes into your life naturally. And if they are not good, you will be forced, forced in the sense, So therefore, please be a bit prepared for surprises. Again, I would love to sugarcoat, but I think it will be injustice if I do that. Okay. So therefore, now it's a time for you to undergo healing. But very important, if you have some inner wounds, try to heal yourself. I know many of you will be tempted. I'll tell you, during this transit, many of you, Leo Lagna, if you are watching this video in 2025, you may not feel this. But if you are watching this in 2027 or 2026 mid, especially towards end of 2027, you might suddenly feel that, oh, I need to become a healer. I need to go and heal somebody. But you need to understand that before you heal others, you have to heal yourself. So do spiritual practices, do pranayam, do seva, and heal yourself first, your own trauma, your wounds. If you don't heal yourself, well, you will bleed on those who are not responsible for your trauma. Okay. And please do not over glorify, oh, I had trauma, I had this holy trauma. And I can change it. Well, maybe unfortunate things happened with you, but this is not the time to give excuses. You know why? Because now if you try, then you can get help, because Saturn aspects your 10th house, which is the house of resolution, determination, and success. And he aspects your 5th house, which is the house of mantras. Okay, so please chant mantras and you will do good. So please chant Om Namo Narayanaya. This mantra will do wonders for you. Leo Lagna, if you have any problem, if you feel fearful, if you are doubting yourself, please chant Om Namo Narayanaya 108 times at least in a mala every day, Leo Lagna. Please do it. Number 2, your career changes might happen, but it could happen suddenly. Okay, and you might need some time to establish your stability. And now is the time where you might want to go deep into research. So if you are in a technical field, now maybe it's a time to go into research. Okay, if you are already in a research field, maybe it's time to go further into research. And there could be discussions about wealth and inheritance and issues related to in-laws, joint finances. And it could happen that, if there is some accident, then you do not get the insurance money, or there are some delays. Okay. So keep some finances handy. At least 3 to 6 months of your living expenses should be covered in moments of emergency. So if you have money which you have completely put in some asset like real estate, which is totally non-liquid, then maybe somehow or the other, please have some savings of 3 to 6 months. Okay. And then relationships might undergo some tests, relationships with your parents, because the second house, your family, receives the aspect. It could be your spouse also, because Saturn is your 7th lord. Okay. So therefore, they might require commitments. Your parents or your in-laws, they might have some health issues, and it might force you to give them some time and some money, of course. So you will have to act maturely now. And because Saturn gets exalted in Libra, sometimes you might be forced to take sides, but please understand, take sides of justice. Okay. Even if your parents, they are wrong, you need to tell them. Even if your spouse is wrong, you have to tell them. Even if your in-laws are right, you might have to take their side sometimes. So depending on who is right, take their side. Okay. And most importantly, this is the best time to get into astrology, learn about occult sciences and other sorts of mysticism. All right. So Leo, may not be the best transit for you, but use it for inner transformation and growth, and you will come out stronger. All right. Take care, Leo. Now we go to Virgo, Kanya Lagna, Virgo ascendant. Saturn will transit your 7th house, and guess what happens to Saturn when he transits the 7th? He gets Digbali, directional strength, and he rules your 5th house, he rules your 6th house. And from the 7th, Saturn is gonna aspect your 9th house, he's gonna aspect your Lagna, And most importantly, he will aspect your fourth house. Very, very, very important house. We'll come to that in a minute. Be patient. Now, seventh house, needless to say, it is a Kendra house. It is 10th from the 10th. It is the Bhavad Bhavam of the 10th house. It means it is the Arudha of your profession. It is how people perceive you. So you will become very conscious about your image, your reputation, what people think of you, how others are perceiving you. So, for example, marriage and relationships. Now, it is a time, if you are already in a committed relationship, fifth lord transiting the seventh, to convert that into marriage. Very, very, very important period. You or your partner might have these serious discussions. Okay, so love and marriage will become more serious. You will think long term, where is our relationship heading? And weak relationships might break because the sixth house is involved. There could be a breakup if the relationship is not strong. So this is a litmus test. If in the next 3 years you are in a committed relationship and it breaks, then it means it was a very superficial relationship or you had other priorities. But if it does not break, remember, what does not break you makes you stronger. So therefore, the strong ones will survive and the weaker ones will dwindle and fade into oblivion. Then career and business. Very important. This is a great time to do business partnerships with anybody who you feel is capable, who complement each other. Okay, so suppose you are a good technical person and your friend is a good business person. So then, you could do some collaboration together. And they will require structured arrangements. You have to formulate a company, private limited or LLC or something. It won't happen like, oh, let's just do it. Okay, not that you need to do it, but you should do it so that there are no misunderstandings. Okay, very, very, very important. Then from the seventh, he is aspecting your first house. So you will have to focus on your health. A strict health regimen is very, very, very important. A proper structure is required. So now you can't just say, oh, I'll get up at 6, 7, 5, 8, 9, 10, whatever. No, even if you get up at 8, even if you get up at 12 in the afternoon, don't get up. Even if you get up at 12, you will have to do that at the same time every day. So therefore, if you don't want to feel headless, helpless, if you don't want to feel lost, then have a structure. Virgo, you are very good at planning, but you need to really plan now. Okay, you need to do it. You have to do it. So you have to plan every aspect of your life. Now, that does not mean that you are successful in implementing them. Even if you are successful 60-70% of the times, it is great success, okay, for you. Then higher learning could come up. Interest in philosophy, dharma, structured knowledge can come, okay. Very, very, very important. And most importantly, you might want to focus on home, property and all this, okay. So if you feel that now is the time you have to buy a new home, then go and do it, because the fourth house is receiving the aspect and the first house also. And when the first and the fourth will receive the aspects, it means something very important related to property is happening in your life, which can shake you a bit, okay. So there could be some money which is required for renovation, so keep it aside. And property dealings must be approached with caution, especially in your date of birth. If you have the number 1 repeating multiple times, like you are born on 11th or whatever, 1st January, or it's like, yeah, it could be, 11 November, something like that. So you have to approach property dealings with caution, because there could be issues in getting the possession. Okay, so do the registry, sales deed and all this. Take care. Get help of a bank official if required. All right. So, Virgo ascendants, don't worry, it's a great period, but you need to understand that now life is gonna be a bit serious, especially with people that you are close. All right. Thank you so much. Please take care. All right, now we go to Libra, Tula Lagna, Libra Ascendants. What's going on? Your Yokarak Saturn will now transit Adustana house, which is the sixth house, and he rules your fourth and fifth, a Kendra and a Trikon, very important plan. And he will aspect your eighth house, your 12th house, and your third house. So, very, very, very important transit. Can be a challenging one, but let's discuss how to navigate through it. So, number one, your work and routine will be the most important thing for the next 3 years. Your work life and your health should be the number one priority. So, now the next 3 years, nothing doing, no vacations, no friendly times. Please focus on your work. Now, when I say don't take vacations, I don't mean you don't literally take, but understand that the next 3 years, life may not be the bed of roses, because sixth house, as you know, is the house of pain. So you got to take some pain. No pain, no gain. And if you are lazy and if you continue your laziness perpetually, you will suffer. Sir, madam, please do not do it. So, chronic health issues might come, particularly related to digestion, some issues related to your feet, some issues related to your nervous system, So, therefore, you will require proper planning. Why do you panic when there is a calamity? Or now, if there's a big calamity, it's natural. But when there are small problems, even after that, if you're panicking, it just means you are not very well prepared. You are not very much grounded. So, this period will actually teach you how grounded you are to yourself. So, there could be enemies and legal matters which could come up, and it could come to the surface, or it could be like the tip of the iceberg. So, therefore, competitors in your work environment might try to overpower you or cross you. And legal matters, if they are pending, could resurface. So, some old legal issue might resurface, and it might take longer to resolve, but those favors will come if you are disciplined. So, foreign travel and expenses also could come. Why? Because Saturn will aspect your third and your 12th house. Most importantly, the two most important houses of travel apart from the ninth house. So, therefore, you might travel to a foreign land, or you might travel to a different state. From India, you might travel from Tamil Nadu to Maharashtra or some other place, or even within a state, you might travel from one city to the other. There could be some displacement, but this is a good time to explore opportunities outside because of your work, because sixth house is your work. Now, Saturn will aspect the eighth house, so there could be some tough talks with your in-laws, tough talks, right? So things which you do not like to talk, or with your business partners. Okay, very, very, very important. Now, Saturn is your fourth lord and your fifth lord. So what does the fourth lord transiting the sixth say? It tells that you might heavily focus in issues related to your house. Okay, so your house might require some renovation, or you might want to build a house from scratch. So house related matters might be causing strain to you. And fifth house shows, children, love, romance related matters. Now, Saturn is also your fourth lord. So, fourth lord shows your mental fitness, your self esteem, and it also rules your mental resilience. Okay. So, therefore, your mental resilience might be tested, and most importantly, your hardworking capacity will be tested. So, it could happen that earlier you thought, okay, I can work as long as I want to, but now it will not be the case. You will have to not just work because you want to, but because you have to. Okay, so be prepared for working, and if things go out of your control, please chant this mantra, Om Namo Narayanaya, and also chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. These two mantras will actually help you. And if things really go out of control, you can also fast on Saturdays. That will also be excellent. Okay. So wish you all the best, Libra Lagna. Don't worry, work hard, and you will see success eventually. All right. Take care. Now we go to Scorpio. Scorpio, Vrishchik Lagna. What's happening? Saturn will transit your fifth house, right? That's where Pisces is for you. Fifth house is a Tricorn. So, congratulations. It's a great period in general for you. Now, he is ruling your third house and he rules your fourth house. And from the fifth, he will aspect your seventh house. He will aspect your 11th. And also, most importantly, the second house, which is the house of your family and food. So, therefore, education and wisdom will be the primary focus of this transit, because the fourth lord is transiting the fifth house. What does this mean? It means now you just don't want to learn things, you want to learn the essence. So it's like saying you have done a course, but have you understood what this course was all about? That's what the fifth house is. And then there is the sixth house, where you not just understand, but you go and practically apply what you learned. Okay, so therefore now is the time that you apply a disciplined approach towards higher learning, which will bring long term benefits, and it will bring you success, because your 11th house is receiving the aspect of Saturn. So love, romance, and relationships might appear in your life. So if you are single, then congratulations, you might meet somebody with whom you might enter a long-term relationships. Okay, but this is also interesting because it's Saturn. He's a natural malefic, right? So he will not do things very easily. So it will not happen, oh, you meet somebody and suddenly you are in a relationship the next day morning. It will not be like this. And the person you meet may be from a different community, different caste, there could be age difference, but this will primarily depend on your Mahadasha. So, and your Antardasha. So, if Saturn, Rahu, Ketu are there in your dashas, and now also because Saturn is transiting your fifth, and these dashas of Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, Mahadasha, Antardasha, they are indicating the fifth house, eighth house, 12th house, then this is almost guaranteed that you will meet somebody from a different community, religion, caste, significant age difference. But if you are running dashas of Mercury, Venus, Sun, Moon, Mars, then this intercaste, interreligion, age difference may not be there so much, okay, but it could still be there to some extent. Now, wealth and savings are very important, because financial investments made by you should now be made with caution, because see, Saturn is aspecting your 12th, your 11th house, and also your second house. These are the two houses of money, so two houses of finance. So therefore, please, 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 fifth house is speculation. Do not, do not put all your money into one stock or into one property. Do not put all eggs in one basket, as Warren Buffett says. World's best investor, right? So, if you are into day trading or swing trading, then you need to be careful. You need to exercise caution, because you might get this temptation. Because, see, that's what Saturn does. He's a very intelligent planet, a scary one also. So, what he does is he will give you some temptation. Oh, yes, this, penny stock is gonna double. This meme coin is gonna double. This property is gonna double in 1 year. So, let me put money there. It can happen, but most of the times it does not happen. The opposite happens. You end up losing money. All right. So career, business gains will come, and it might also come through partnerships, because the seventh house also receives the aspect of Saturn. So please understand that you need to grow, but grow gradually. So do not get into dangerous speculations, and stay away from casinos, gambling, and all this. Very dangerous. Now, If you are married, it's a great time to have children. And if you already have children, they might require more guidance, more support, more time. They might demand your attention, and you might be forced to give the attention. And it's your duty. If you are a parent, you need to give attention, right? So it could happen that your children, they are demanding attention because of good reasons, because they're growing and they need it. Okay, it's not just that they want it. So therefore, fifth house, as you know, is the house of spirituality and mantras. So you should chant the Vishnu Sahasranam every day. You should chant Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. You can chant Shanidev's mantras also. You can do more fasting on Saturdays. You can do all the standard remedies of Saturn, like, donating to the poor people, no feeding water to crows. You can do that. You can do go seva also. So a lot of things you can do, but most important is that you take control of your life and you understand that now is the time you have to center your thoughts and your intelligence. So study the right things, associate with the right people, and do not forget to chant mantras and do spiritual practices every day. All right, all the best, Scorpio. Now we go to Sagittarius. What's going on? Sagittarius Lagna, right? Interesting. Sagittarius, this transit is in your Chaturth Bhava, fourth house. Very, very, very important. It is a Kendra house. Do not forget that. And Saturn rules your second house, and he also rules your third house. And from the fourth, he will aspect your sixth, your 10th, and most importantly, your head, which is the Lagna, which is the first house, your ascendant itself. So, therefore, home and family will be very important. Your mother might require some attention, and your family responsibilities will increase, and you might have to take care of elderly family members or somebody from your maternal side. Very important. And you might also want to go for a home purchase, using loan. If Venus Dasha is there, Antar Dasha, Mahadasha, it might be that you want to purchase a vehicle. If Mars or Saturn itself is involved in Mahadasha, Antar Dasha, it could be property purchase. Then you might also encounter property related issues, within your family, because Saturn in your chart is the second lord. Okay. So some issues with your family, ancestral property, and all these things could come up. Then, if your horoscope, your original birth chart supports real estate, and you have the number 8 even times in your date of birth. So, for example, if you have the number 8 two times, or if you have the number 8 four times in your date of birth, even eights, then you might enter full time into real estate. So, congratulations. If you want to enter into real estate, property business, fantastic period this is. but but please understand, he's Saturn. He's not just any ordinary planet, right? So there could be some delays in acquiring the property, or in getting some certificates, sales deed, the registry, and all this. Okay. And you need to be very careful with the documents, because the sixth house of legal disputes is also receiving the aspect. Okay. So please trust but verify. Now, you might also get into real estate full time, or it could be part time. Like, you are selling a property, and then you get the money, and then you put that money back into some other property, or you might act as an agent. You are like a broker, which is who is helping others sell or buy properties, and you are getting commission. Or if your chart is very powerful, you might also become a builder. Okay. You're building dozens and hundreds of houses, and you're selling them. Okay. So it could be either ways, depending on the strength of your chart and the strength of the dashas. And now, because the two houses of name and fame, the first and the 10th, these two houses, and the second house, which is also the house of money, because these three houses are receiving no, these two houses, the first and the 10th, are receiving the aspects of Saturn. So therefore, you need to understand that there could be recognition in your career. Your name, fame, power, position, authority might increase. But here is the catch: the rise will be there, but it will be slow and steady. But remember, slow and steady means the race, right? So consistent hard work is mandatory, and your health and your well-being will be non-negotiable during this time, because your sixth house, which is the house of diseases, also receives the aspect of Saturn along with your first house, which is the house of your body. So therefore, there could be increased stress related to your work or your health. So please have a good fitness regimen, and please please understand that now you have to structure your life. You have to go and sleep at the same time or get up at the same time. Okay, so you will have to do things every day at the same time, or you may not do it every day. Like you go to the gym once every alternate day, so like 3 days a week you go, or 4 days. Now that you need to do specifically at the same time. Okay, otherwise it may not work. So things might turn up in your family, in your mother's side, which might affect your mental health to some extent. So therefore meditation and relaxation techniques are essential. So please chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is a prime mantra for the fourth house. This will help you to get rid of troubles at a mental level. All right. So self identity and growth will be essential. And now is the time where you will look for yourself. And because fourth house is also education, you might also go for some higher education because of professional reasons, and there could be travel because Saturn is also the third lord here. Okay, and you might also end up opening a YouTube channel, and you might go into social media because the third lord is now aspecting the 10th house and the first house, so you might get name fame from there also, right? So Sagittarius, great period for real estate and social media and career and health, but with efforts. All right, take care, Sagittarius. Now we go to Capricorn. Capricorn, the lord of your sign is Saturn himself, right? Makar Lagna. Saturn is now going to transit in your third house. What is the third house? It is the house of creative self expression. Fifth house is creativity, but third house is creative self expression. You express yourself. It's the 11th of the fifth house, which is, the gain you express, and others also benefit from your creativity and your knowledge. So Saturn now will transit this third house, which is in Kali Yuga in 2025, in the age of social media, the most powerful house, because it is the house of social media. And Saturn, as I said, he's your Lagna Lord, so he rules your first house and he also rules your second house. And he will aspect your fifth house, your ninth house, and your 12th house. Very, very, very important. Now, communication and effort. Every effort will require persistence. Okay, your communication, your to and fro mails, they might increase. Progress will be slow. There will be hard work, but it will bring lasting results. So be patient with your communication. You might have to do more follow ups. You might have to take more feedback from people. Then creativity and intelligence. No, you will be able to write, you will be able to teach, creative projects will come. You will want to have more hobbies because the fifth house is receiving the aspect of Saturn. And all this will happen through a disciplined approach. You might, because the ninth house also receives. So you might like to, take a trainer or a personal coach for all this. Only then you will be able to make a difference in your life, not just randomly learning from here and there from all 10 different sources. Now, higher learning and spirituality will be paramount because your fifth house, which is the house of mantras, is receiving the aspect. Your ninth house is receiving the aspect, and your 12th house is receiving the aspect, right? And the third house is Guru Updesh, where the Guru is actually speaking, right? So it could be that you are gaining this knowledge because of the fifth, ninth, and the 12th, and then you come home and you share it with your family members, your friends, your colleagues. Not too much with your colleagues, but with people in general, because now is the time where you have to give what you have, because there is this, special dan, charity. It's called as Vidya Dan. This is the only dan which expands the more you give. Have you heard of anything which expands, the more you give? it's it's the dan of Vidya, donation of knowledge. So when you do this, you will realize that now your life has completely transformed 180 degrees or maybe 360 degrees. Okay, because now you are giving out knowledge which you have, and while giving out, while interacting with people, that knowledge is transforming into realization. So very, very, very important. So now you need not just keep things to yourself, so share it with others. So higher learning and spirituality, this is a great period for redefining your spiritual beliefs, for reading the Bhagavad Gita, for reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, or any religious tradition that you are inspired by. So great period for higher education, for learning new language. 12th house also receives the aspect. So going to foreign lands, traveling abroad, and growing spiritually, ashrams. Then foreign travel, foreign matters. No, so it could be related to job, but primarily this should be related to some higher learning. So it could be because of spirituality, or because of, doing masters or PhD or something like that. So foreign travels may take time to materialize, and third house, as you know, is the house of visa, right? There could be some, oof, you might need another attempt for getting the visa of that country, right? So therefore, foreign travels may be a bit delayed, or there could be some setbacks which you might face. And expenses related to overseas ventures need to be planned carefully, because your Lagna Lord is involved in this. Your Lagna Lord shows your body, your physical existence, right? So therefore, make sure you have the right documents, or you might be trapped in some country if you travel, if you lost your passport and all this. So just be aware of it. Then, most importantly, third house represents your siblings. So, relationships with your siblings may become a bit cold, or your siblings might act a bit professionally. Okay. Ooh, it's happening more in Kali Yuga, right? So, whoever has maturity and patience will win. So, be be yourself, but don't let others exploit you, and also do not exploit others. All right. Thank you so much, Capricorn. Great period to open a YouTube channel. Don't forget to do it if you want. Thank you. Now we go to Aquarius, Kumbha Lagna. Very important, because Saturn is your Lagna Lord. He is lording your first house, and he also lords your 12th house. And for you now, he's going to transit the second house of money, wealth, and resources, right? From there, he's going to aspect your 4th house, he will aspect your 8th house, and he will also aspect your 11th house. So this is a very, very, very amazing transit, because now for the last 3 years, Saturn was in your Lagna in Aquarius, where it taught a lot of things to you. It gave you a lot of life lessons. Now it is the time. Now is the time where you take all these life lessons and all the pain and you apply it for becoming more resourceful. You help others, you guide others. Okay. Because now the 4th house, 8th house, they are the houses of learning and research. So they are receiving the aspect of Saturn, and also the most important house in Kali Yuga, the 11th house, is receiving the aspect. What else do you need? So financial stability will be the most important priority for you. And I know Aquarius ascendants, one of my good friend is an Aquarius ascendant. He really wants money now. So Saturn transiting in the second house can give you opportunities for wealth creation, to get married, to have children, to become more resourceful in general, and avoid unnecessary expenses, because Saturn is also your 12th lord. Just don't think he's your Lagna lord, he's your 12th lord. So 12th lord coming into the second might bring in some expenditure unknowingly or unwarranted expenditure. The income tax department sends you some notice and you're like, what the hell? I didn't know about this. Or there is some audit for your business or your self-employed work and you lose some money. So be a bit prepared to lose some money here there. Okay, so it could be a loss or an expense. You could define it either ways. Now, family and speech will be very important. Now, Saturn transiting second house, your family members might behave cold towards you, Yeah, your mother, your father, your spouse, your children, whoever. They are asking you critical questions. They are asking you things which you do not want to answer. And then what happens? You distance yourself from them because you realize you do not have the answers, right? So now, if in your family there are some issues which are going on and you are not solving them, and if it has to do with you specifically, then now is the time when you will not be able to say no. You will have to solve the issues, right? So therefore, relations with your family members will require patience. Your parents, your children, they might need more time because they might have health issues. So delays might occur. So please understand that you will have to be patient with your family members and be careful with what you speak, because now what you speak will be remembered and quoted for the next 10 generations. So therefore, if you cannot do something, if something is beyond your reach, surrender and be honest with your family members. Well, you want this, I cannot do this. That's it. Try your best and then surrender. But if you do not do that, and if you are expecting, oh yeah, things will just happen, without me doing anything, no sir, no madam, that's not going to happen. And now your fourth house, which is the house of home and your literal house, real estate, that also receives the aspect of Saturn. So you see, the home family aspect is coming, home family angle is coming. So you might want to buy property, but you might spend a lot of time, looking and scouting for properties, and that might make you a bit frustrated. So delays might occur. So please understand that you need to focus on your home. It could be either your family or your house, okay, or it could be both. And there could be sudden wealth which could come because the 8th house and the 11th house is receiving aspect, or something could happen, and yeah, you might get inheritance, okay. So therefore, or while getting inheritance, there could be some issues, inheritance might be delayed, or yeah, you need to be a bit prepared. But most importantly, your investments which have been growing long term, they will yield a lot of benefits, okay. So that's the best part about this transit. And because the Lagna Lord is aspecting the 11th house, so now all your actions will be in a way that will bring you ultimate long-term gains. So if you want to have gains long-term, then you need to understand that you have to focus on things which yield long-term benefits, which yield long-term results rather than thinking short-term. Okay. So Aquarius, great period for becoming more resourceful. Use it properly and improve your life. All right. Thank you and take care. Now we go to Pisces. Pisces Lagna, the last of all ascendants. But now you have Saturn in your Lagna. So Saturn is transiting your first house, your ascendant, which is your head, your personality, your intellect, your sense of self, the sense of self-worth. And he rules your 11th house of gains and also your 12th house of losses. Very, very, very important. And he aspects your 3rd, your 7th, and most importantly, the 10th house of name, fame, power, position, authority. So guess what? It's a great time to build authority in a particular field or within your house. Now, when I say authority, I don't mean in an arrogant, bossy sense, oh yes, go on hammering yourself, well, listen to me. No, not that kind of authority. But authority like Saturn. So when I say like Saturn, it means authority through your hard work, your commitment, and through your results. Okay, so the difference between Sun and Saturn is Sun will, demand authority, but Saturn will kind of command authority. Okay, so you have to become a person who is dependable, who is trustworthy, who has accountability, who has honesty. Very important. So self identity and discipline is paramount. So Saturn in the first house will make you a bit more serious, and it can make you a bit more responsible and mature, either by choice or by force. This is something you need to be aware of. Career and status, professional growth may be slow, but it will come eventually. And you will require hard work and long working hours. Okay, so if your spouse is a Pisces ascendant and you have your birthday or your marriage anniversary coming up, then don't expect much from them. All right, that's the best part about knowing astrology. Marriage and relationships are receiving the aspect of Saturn, the seventh house. So they will require more attention, more patience, and more commitment. Weak partnerships, weak relationships, weak associations, weak friendships, weak relations with your family members might be shattered. Okay, so therefore, this is the litmus test. If your relationship with anybody, any human being, does not matter what kind of relationship it is, if it is strong, it will survive. If not, it will either break or it will lose its importance. Okay, communication and networking will become very important. Why? Because the third house is receiving. Networking is both third house, seventh house, and 11th house, all the three houses. Okay, and Saturn is your 11th lord, so do not forget this 11th lord aspecting the third and seventh. So you will want to do networking, and this is something which you may not like, but at times you might be forced to ask help from your networks, your network circles. You might need their help, and you may feel a bit humiliated to ask. And you know what's the worst part? You may not even get help when you need this. Okay, but anyways, from your side, you should help others. Doesn't matter who helps you, but try your best to help others. Now, trying your best does not mean you give away everything. No, I'm not saying that. But do your best. Whatever is best in your capacity, do that. So there will be slow and steady improvement in your network circles, but that is good for you because now is the time when you will realize who are your long-term friends and associates. Okay, very, very, very important. And most importantly, your 12th lord is coming into your lagna. So now life should be about detachment. Yes, be detached. Do your best and leave the rest to God. As Sri Krishna says in the Gita, do your activities, do your duties, but don't be obsessed with the results. Be concerned about the results. Nothing wrong in being concerned about the results, but understand that the results that you will get in this life will be a combination of your efforts you put in this life and the karmic results of your previous lifetimes. Okay, which you already did, and you cannot change it. Okay, so period of deep spiritual transformation and inner self reflection will bring a long term vision in your life. So now, for you, the only thing that is important is to understand that now life is a long term game, and short tricks, shortcuts, anything short will not work. Okay, so now you purposefully don't have to take the longer route. Take shortcuts wherever you can, provided you don't break the law and the rules, but understand that it may not work everywhere. Okay, so be prepared to work hard and realize that life is about making serious decisions and serious commitments. All right, thank you so much everybody. Please take care. Jai Siya Ram.